how it starts. If anyone didn't know how it starts, that's
so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Good luck. I've assembled a crack team of comedians to teach YouTubers how to do stand-up comedy for the first time.
Oh, my heart rate is going up thinking about it. Yeah, I've been sweating.
I'm Lewis Spears. I've been a professional stand-up comic for 8 years now. You may remember me from the death of Prince Philip.
He just died.
The Misfits are a massive group of gaming YouTubers who have never done stand-up before. They are incredibly funny online, but stand-up comedy is a different ballgame. I have just 2 weeks to turn the Misfits, these Discord-addicted, live-streaming, partially anonymous video game nerds, into fully-fledged stand-up comedians. And the only way I got them to agree to this was by promising them that they'll be performing in front of a small audience of just 80 people. Well, if you know anything about me, I'm a liar. But even worse than that, I'm a very good one. And what they don't know is that instead of doing a very small show of 80 people like this, I booked the biggest comedy club in the country so we can do a show like this.
300!
Do the Misfits have what it takes to survive the brutal world of stand-up comedy?
I lost my temper on stage.
Will they make the audience laugh, or will they bomb and embarrass themselves in front of hundreds of their own fans? In this video, I'll be teaching the Misfits how to do stand-up comedy for the first time. But be careful what you wish for, because we're doing this my way. You right? Okay, it is official. I just got the call and we are finally locked in. Initially, they said they were only going to do this thing if they only had to perform for 2 minutes.
We've organised a show for you guys. Usually, the first set of comedy is 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yes.
I'm thinking like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes sounds pretty comfortable for me.
Come on, dude, it's not the bedroom.
5 minutes is so long.
Lewis, how long does it normally take someone to make their first 5-minute set?
To perfect a 5-minute set will take me about a month.
You're going 2 weeks.
Yeah.
5 minutes is not a lot of time. It feels like so much more than what it is. If you go up and you think you have 2 minutes, you might have 2 minutes of speaking, but with comedy you need to slow down. You need to let people laugh. You need to give them room to kind of hear you and respond to you. You need to kind of ride the wave before you. So
Okay, look, sorry to interrupt here, but I'm just editing this video and I need to let you know that this guy right here is currently recovering from a pretty intensive jaw surgery. So if you listen to him and think, oh, this guy sounds very lispy and like talking causes him pain, it's because he's very lispy and talking causes him pain. He gets a little bit better though.
I remember the first time that I tried stand-up in university. I thought I had like 3 minutes of material. Yeah, and then I got up there and I was like, opened the entire thing like so quickly. Yeah, because I was nervous. So in my head, I'm like, if I have 2 minutes, I probably only have one if I'm like speaking really quick. Or
yeah, well, that's like a real rookie error. It's like the biggest thing to tell all new comics is like slow down and let them laugh. That's why you don't just need to tell jokes to back and forth. You need to tell jokes and receive laughter. So you're gonna like let them give it to you, because otherwise, you know, within the first joke, if you tell a joke and then you step on their laughter, you could have lost it for the rest of your set.
Oh, my heart rate is going up thinking about it. Yeah, I've been sweating.
Slow down and shut the fuck up, and you guys will go great.
Mason, you still sweating?
yeah, my hands are a bit clammy.
Okay, now I'm glad I'm proud of you. It's very scary. It takes a lot of balls to do this. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe this is the start of all of our stand-up careers.
They also said they would only do this if the audience was less than 80 people. I immediately promised that this would happen, and then I went behind their backs with their own team, and we went ahead and booked the biggest comedy club in the country, the Comics Lounge, 450 people. They're gonna freak out. Now, our plan here is to somehow not let the Misfits find out how big their own show is until they step foot on stage for the first time. I don't know how we're gonna pull it off, but we're gonna try. try. However, there is one big problem. I only have 2 weeks to teach 4 completely different people how to write and perform stand-up comedy. That's not even enough time to teach one of them. Don't tell them that. They'll pull out. They're freaking out and they're looking for a reason. They will pull out. Do not tell them. So what I'm going to need is to assemble a team, but not just any team. I'm going to need the Avengers. If the Avengers were like Australian comedians who are big on TikTok. So, wait, hang on. Let me get the drawing board. Oh, it's too low. And then, okay, that's good. Whatever. You get. Look at the board. Each Misfit member has their own unique personality and life experience, and therefore needs to be paired with a comedian just like them so that they can help them write jokes. Let's start with the easy ones, Mason and Fitz. Now, Mason is undeniably the loosest member of the Misfits.
That's the most janky shit I've ever heard. One time.
So he's going to need a comedian that is so bogan they make bintang singlets look like tuxedos. The perfect comedian for this man is my good friend, Frenchy. These two are connected, so next up we've got Fitz. Now he has a very dark sense of humor, and if you look at the guy, he's clearly going to need a comedian who understands what it's like to carry the unique burden of being incredibly tall, handsome, healthy, successful, fashionable, well-liked, and someone who has great teeth. Clearly, that's me. Now for the hard ones. We've got Swaggersouls here.
Allahu Akbar, everybody.
He's an American YouTuber and streamer who disguises his identity with a medieval knight's helmet. He's completely anonymous and he's about this tall. Luckily, I've got the perfect man for the job. My good friend Luke Kidgell, who is a man who dresses so generically and has a face that is so common that if he committed a crime and it was caught on camera, half the men across the globe could be arrested for it. He's about as close as you can get to being anonymous without covering your face. Finally, the most difficult misfit to pair with a comedian, we have Toby. Tobionthetele is a young trans gay woman who is also getting married and is also a mother who likes cars. She loves cars.
Fuck me, car.
Now, clearly, Toby is going to need to be paired with a comedian who deeply and personally understands the trans experience. Unfortunately, Toby asked me to find a comedian like that, and I've only really done a couple of gigs with a couple of trans people, and it's only been a couple of times, and you know, we had a chat and it was nice, but we haven't really become friends, so I don't have their number, and I have no way to contact those people, and I don't really know them like that to ask, but I do know a gay woman, right? So I asked her, but she was busy. So instead, I've got my friend Reuben, who's not gay and he's not trans and he's not even a woman, but he is vegan, so close enough. The crash course is done, the show is organized, and the Misfits are incredibly nervous, but I've left them all in very capable hands, I think.
Do you have 5 minutes of thoughts about it?
No.
Now, it's time for me to focus on my pupil, Fitz. Now, I take stand-up comedy very seriously, which sounds silly, but it is true. And if you want to start with me, you're going to start the right way. There are no shortcuts. I don't care how many subscribers you have. I care a little bit. They have a lot more than I do. Can you please subscribe to me? If you want me to teach you stand-up, you're going to start the right way, like I did and like every other comedian should, at a sign-up on the night open mic comedy room. A sign-up open mic spot is where every wannabe comedian cuts their teeth, usually run by other comedians early in their own careers. These are always held in half-empty, dingy bars that once you walk in, you're lucky to leave alive. If you're watching this video and you want to be a comedian, you're going to spend every single weeknight for a couple of years in rooms exactly like these. You'll show up to the room, write your name down, drop your name into a hat, and if your name is pulled from the hat, you get to perform. If it's not pulled, you might sit there for 2 hours and go home without ever getting on stage. This type of thing has happened to me multiple times in my career, idea, but sometimes at these rooms, leaving without performing is the best case scenario. Because if you do get on stage, your audience will be 6 people who kinda don't want to be there, and maybe 10 comedians who are waiting for their turn or bitter about not getting their name called. And as you can imagine, they're not an easy audience.
This is what I would call a hell gig.
Okay, so this is a warm-up, literally by 5.
Yes.
This is going to be awful.
Yeah. You wanted to
be a tough one.
Well, you wanted to start comedy? This is where you start.
The first gig is at a place called Dirty Secrets. This one is held in the basement of a bar in Melbourne on their least busy night of the week, and you are lucky if you get more than 7 people in the audience. I am not joking about that.
Oh, so there's really not any people going up tonight, is what you're saying?
I'm talking about the audience.
Oh, right. Oh, it's going to be a really small crowd. Oh, okay. Yeah. So nervous. I've been shitting myself all week.
Yeah.
I've been going over my material. I haven't written down this little black book.
Yeah, so do I. I'm doing all new tonight. Okay.
So what's the plan? Do you like just put this down like on the stool in front of you and just kind of flip through it when you need to?
There might be a stool, but I have like dot points to remind me of like my jokes.
So would you
you got a full script?
Oh yeah, I wrote down like fucking. I wrote down like everything that I want to say.
Hello, my name is.
Put it this way, I'm a seasoned comedian. I'm doing this room tonight, and I'm also shitting myself.
MC is going to be Adam Ulitas. First up is Thomas Nowak. Second is Nick Kwan. Third is me. Fourth is you.
Oh yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Correct.
You're
like the funniest guy I know, and I'm following you.
Here comes a slightly less tall version of what you've just seen.
Your head's like touching us.
Yeah, I don't. This is real open mic shit where I don't fit on the fucking stage. Yeah, give it a go. Play with it.
G'day. Yep.
If you've ever wondered what starting comedy is, this is it in an image. An empty front row and a packed back, just in case people want to fucking leave halfway through the show. This is what starting comedy is like. Hello, chairs. How is everyone tonight?
How do you deal with like when a video doesn't go well?
Cry, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait till you do it on stage.
Yeah. No, I'm fully prepared. This feels like one of the...
It's so much worse.
I do not fit on the stage. Fuck. Comedy really has its ups and downs. I was on television, SBS a few months ago, and now I'm performing in a basement for free in front of 7 cunts on a stage I do not fit on.
Guys, give it up for Los Beers. Okay, guys, we've got a special guest come in. It's his first time on stage ever. So enjoy it, have fun, and yeah, guys, put your hands together for Fitzy.
獅住女士中途裝付的手勢，獅住口是來了，你過去的手勢。I actually wrote that down phonetically. That's exactly
Guys, get up for Fitzy, it's his first time! That was incredible.
Good. It was really
How do you
good.
feel, man?
I feel good.
Good?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was it what you imagined it was?
I did a little better than I thought I'd do, so I'm happy about that.
There you go, there we go. Alright, guys, we've got a couple more acts left. So yeah, now you know how it starts. If anyone didn't know how it starts, that's...
So nerve-wracking.
Yeah, usually it ends the same way.
After Dirty Secrets, we're going to run over to another room called Gorilla Comedy. It's a slight step up. This one is also a bar, but it sells burgers. It also has no stage, no lights, and no sound system. The guy who runs it literally brings in his own microphone from home and a guitar amp, plugs them in, and bam, you've got a comedy night. When you're new, you perform where you can.
And then I looked at the sign and I was like, oh, this is a massage parlor. Fuck am I? Thank you very much. Please welcome to the stage, Fitz.
你好，獅子來中途裝付的手勢。
It keeps better, man.
You think so?
Yeah, really good.
I was like, I feel better in some ways down there, and also in some ways I was like, oh, I think I like lost my place a little bit. But
I think
I was good with the eye contact. You told me that before I went up.
Yeah.
I was all right. Let's look at the crowd this time.
Yeah, because the first gig you were looking at the floor in your nose. The second gig you kind of scanning was much better.
Yeah.
I think your second half went better here.
Yeah.
But your first half went better at the other place.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how the other members of the Misfits training is going. You'll have to watch their video to see that.
While Fitz and myself were taking our preparations incredibly seriously, Frenchy and Mason got on the piss.
After seeing Fitz's very first set, I am incredibly impressed. His first set, he did well. His second set, I gave him a bunch of tips. He listened to them, applied them, and did even better. That's unheard of. I've seen a lot of first ever sets, and that is probably one of the best. I'm not kidding. To put this in perspective, my first ever set, I actually did very well. And I thought, oh my God, I'm the greatest comedian alive. Then, at my second set, I bombed so hard that I ended my set early. It hurt my feelings, and I couldn't get on stage for 2 weeks afterwards. And then when I finally mustered up the courage to get on stage again, I didn't have another good set for a month, and I was getting up 3 to 4 times a week. So to have 2 in a row go well is amazing. With that being said, I'm feeling very confident about Fitz, my student, my protege. I think he's going to absolutely crush this. He's the only Misfit member putting in the actual legwork and going to actual stand-up comedy rooms. I think he's going to crush this and walk all over the other members, because I've just decided right now that it's a competition and I want to win it. The only roadblock for Fitz now is the size of the audience, which I'm now coming to regret sabotaging him by making it 450, because I've heard a lot of anxiety and nerves and fear, to be honest, from him about an audience the size of 80. The night is finally here. After 2 weeks of preparation, lessons, nerves, and mentorship, the Misfits are ready for their first ever show. And as you can see, they are freaking out.
I just didn't want to get cancelled. I'm a minority now, bitch! It is hard, isn't it?
It is hard, it is.
With the sound test out of the way, we shoved the Misfits backstage so they wouldn't find out about the truly massive crowd until the last minute.
Some comedians bomb, I shoot.
The cameras are rolling, the lights are on, and the stage is waiting. All I need to do now is warm up the crowd, close my eyes, and let the students take the wheel.
Excited. A lot of people are looking at me like they're terrified, because I look like Fitz if he was about to shoot up a school. Now, what you are about to experience is 4 of the Misfits' first ever time doing stand-up comedy. Don't worry though, they've been coached by us professionals. It's myself and 3 other professional comedians that you'll know of that have been holding their hands and their little girl penis and walking them through it as well.
Now the audience knows what the show is, I need to prepare them for the Misfits. I know the Misfits material is going to push the boundaries, so to prepare the crowd and get them on the same wavelength, I drop one of the darkest jokes I've ever written. To the viewers at home, I'm sorry, but I can't even put it in this video. If you want to hear it, you're going to have to see me live.
Helicopters. Strap in, cunts. That's what the pilot said, actually. Come on, you're here to see the Misfits, right? You're going to see some dumb jokes. You just feel lucky that no one walks out in blackface. It's not happening. I told Mason not to. Like, I would never ask a woman I've never met before about the size, width, or depth of her privates. Just not something I would do. Like, you seem like a lovely young lady. What's your name? Sarah. What do you do for work, Sarah? You're still a student. What are you studying? I'm in year 12. You're in year 12. How old are you? 18. What's your name? Olivia? What do you do? Student.
Great, the crowd is on board and it's almost time to bring on the Misfits. But before I do that, I have some very important business and a very special treat for the audience. The morning before this very show, guess what happened?
The Queen died. I thought it was quite sad seeing all of her family travel over to see her. Even Prince Andrew flew all the way to see the Queen on her deathbed. That's the first time he's ever travelled to see a girl in bed older than 12.
I've been on stage for 15 minutes now. I've warmed up the crowd and kicked the Queen while she's down. There's only 2 things left to do. Bring on the comedians, then bring on the Misfits. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise and welcome to the stage for his first time ever performing at the Comics Lounge, Fitz!
G'day. How are we? Do you guys ever get those spam phone calls? From the Chinese robot lady? Yeah? It's a huge problem here in Australia. You pick up the phone and it's just, 你好，谢谢来自中国的消息，你的好事来了，至少只有你。I get like one of these calls a week, right? And each time she calls me, I can feel her getting more aggressive. Like the other night, my phone starts buzzing, and it's an unknown number. And I swear to fucking God, that shit's vibrating more angrily than usual. She was like, brr, brr, brr. So naturally, I'm like, fuck that. I am not answering that shit. But they leave a voice message. So now I'm curious, right? I want to know who it is. Maybe it's not her. Maybe a friend put me down as their emergency contact and they need my help. So I check the voice message and of course it's fucking her. 你好，谢谢来自... But I hang that shit up immediately. And I hang up immediately for a couple of reasons. The first reason, I don't fucking speak Chinese. Shit's impossible to understand. And the second reason is I'm genuinely afraid that I'm secretly a Chinese sleeper agent. I am. I'm scared that if I get too deep into this voice message, that they'll activate me and I'll just start compulsively inserting Chinese propaganda into my conversations. I'll just be talking to my mate like, yeah, you know, Taiwan's kind of got it coming. It's a bit of a shithouse island, firstly speaking. Or like, no, you know, China doesn't even want full access to the internet. Yeah, it's like a mental health thing. They're detoxing right now. It's chill. Like, oh, Xi Jinping is so fuckable. Oh my God, dude. Fuck, he's such a glorious leader. I want to fuck him so bad. Speaking of fucking, you guys watch porn?
As I'm sitting here watching my friend perform for the very first time and do well, I'm reminded of how I started stand-up comedy. My very first gig was also here at the Comics Lounge on this very stage. I was 19 years old and I was terrified, but the minute I felt the lights on my face and heard the laughter in the crowd, I knew that I was home. And now, almost 9 years later, I'm watching Fitz go through the exact same thing. To be able to share this feeling with someone else is just incredible. So if you're watching this and you want to start stand-up comedy, get out there, get as much stage time as you can, and be terrible until you're funny. I'm Lewis Spears. Chase your dream, but more importantly, subscribe. And hey, maybe I'll see you at one of my shows sometime.
Man, you did really well for a first set, and that's a hard room because there's like fuck all people there.
Yeah.
Very good. As far as first sets go, that was really good.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, when I was getting laughs, it was like, oh, I get why people do this. This is like, I practice this in my bedroom and it's actually funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that I've gotten it out the way the first time, like,
you know what?
I'm kind of addicted already. I feel like I want to do it again.
Hey, maybe one day I'll let you open for me.
That would be crazy. Sweet. All right. We'll see you guys at the show.